Okay, it's good to be back, but today I'm going to remake a video that was long awaited for all the people who have really decided to hate on it and want another remake with all the people saying try out Galatine Prime or get a better Nikana build. If you already know what I'm saying, you should already know what the build or what the video is. This is the Galatine versus Nikana revisit, or shall I rename it Galatine Prime versus Nikana Prime. So, a lot of people are hating on my video. I'm very used to it now. It's just people are like dry ass mouth or just, I don't know. Yeah, someone said say okay one say Galatine right, and I say Galatine. I don't say Galatine. I don't say guillotine. I don't say it like other people do. Warframe is one of those games where you pronounce different words. Everyone pronounces a different word a different way. And, you know, if you get butthurt over that, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. It's the way I say it. Get over it. But I say it like galatine. I don't say it like galatine. I don't say it like guillotine. I don't say it like galatine. So, I say it like galatine. I say it like a lot of other people do in this world. And I say Valkyr, I say it like Volkyr because it's quicker to say and I could respond with it. I say Ivara like Ivara, not Ivera or Ivera. I say Mesa like Mesa. I say Loki Prime like Loki Prime. Naza, a lot of people call him Naja. I call him Naza because Naza, the H is silent. It's not nausea. There's no A in there. I don't see people getting butthurt over that. I don't call Nidus Nidus. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I am. I call Octavia like Octavia, not Octavia or something like that. That's how I say it. And if you get butthurt over that, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it. So that's it though. That's really it. If you want to get butthurt over what I say in Overwatch, in Warframe, I'm sorry. Okay? A lot of people call Tigris Prime Tigris Prime. I don't see anyone getting butthurt over that. I feel like it's mainly because I am a small channel that people can just beat on me whenever they feel like it. And I got into a fight where some kid got butthurt over me calling Valkyr Volkyr. Okay, I call her Volkyr. Like I said, I call her Volkyr because it's much easier to pronounce. It's much faster to say. And I can get the quicker I can get the video out, the less you have to struggle with my stutter. I don't have editing software. Yeah, I use a PS4, and every now and then I use Share Factory. And if you guys know, cutting from Share Factory takes unnecessarily long to edit. So, yeah, my bad if you don't like what I say. Anyways, let's get into the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Galatine Prime and the Nikana Prime. Okay? That's how I say it. So people were always complaining on why my build was so trash on Nikana, and they said you should wait for Galatine Prime to come out. Stuff like that. And you know what? I 100% agree. I wanted to do this video. I had Warframe deleted on my PS4 for a while because I had Fallout 4 downloaded, Overwatch, Black Ops 3, games like that. But, you know, today we're going to not only compare two weapons, but we're going to compare three, which is the Lycion, another top tier weapon in the game. This one's going to be kind of like, whatever. I'm not going to actually pick what I favor. An honest opinion, I don't favor any of these weapons. My personal favorite melee weapon in the game is Broken War. Okay, this thing is a beast for me. I love the gun. I love the melee weapon, and its fun factor. It keeps Warframe new for me. That's why I use it. Distrays is another one of them. Okay, I'm not gonna pick a favorite of the bunch. Okay, I'm gonna pick what I think is gonna have better scenarios. I'm not gonna say, well, Nikana Prime is better all the way. No, I think we all know that Galatine Prime can do more damage in a short room or in a crowd of enemies, while Nikana Prime is focused on damage over time and single target damage. That's what we all know. Okay, the Lesion is kind of a mixture of both, which is why I'm putting it in here, because it's not even, it doesn't even have a prime, but is yet one of the best melee weapons. Not even that, one of the best weapons in the game, because of how unnecessarily powerful it is. So we're gonna do two tests. One test where it's one test where you're not without stealth multipliers, and then a test with stealth multipliers. Okay. So yeah. So yeah. We're gonna be testing out the Galatine Prime first. I decided to put the deluxe skin on it. I mean, honestly, it's kind of good. If you want me to be 100% honest, I like it, but that's it. So we're gonna start off with a very strong melee character. Well, I won't say strong. It's a melee character in itself. Excal, Loki, Nidus, especially Nidus is super fun to use. Rhino. All these guys are fairly good melee characters because of how tanky they are and how much survivability they have. That's what makes a good melee. You got to be up in their face and doing a lot of damage. So having a lot of health or a lot of survivability is something that you need to use. So let's just use Nidus as an example. Yeah, we're just gonna use that. We're just gonna use this one right here. So yeah. Let's get into this. We need to select the correct build, and the build we're going to be using is a highly abusive one by far, which is just a bunch of raw damage put into a bunch of crit, which I believe is this one. Yeah, it's this one. So you might say, wow, Hunter, this one doesn't even max out at damage. I can show you a build that does have max damage, and it's not going to compete nearly as well as this, even though it has gas. This one's more of a stealth build, but we're going to show you anyway. Cleaving Whirlwind is something, one thing a lot of people did complain about. Me not using it triples your damage, and I'm sorry about that. So, yeah. So, we're going to be using 2 Corrupted Heavy Gunners. Level 110. And we're going to be using the Larva. Yeah, so it's a very high damaging build. The Galatine Prime is very in-game build or weapon. It's one of the strongest. A lot of people think it is the strongest melee weapon in the game. It could be Elysion. It's really up to you. I'm not gonna say that I want to die. Yeah. We'll use Rhino for his iron skin. Of course we want to use Rhino for his iron skin. He's tanky. So as you see, this build isn't that well with stealth multipliers. I'm already dying. But as you can see, it's still melting in pretty quickly for the type of melee weapon this is. You slide, you can use the actual. So yeah. So without a pure damage build, you can see how powerful this is. But we're also going to take a look at the legendary max damage build, which is just a bunch of slash. Bullet Strike, Fury, stuff like that. Let's see if we can put Primed Fury on there. Think we could put Primed Fury on there? No, we can't. Sadly. But it's fine. Fury works out pretty well. So this is a pure damage build. I don't know if it has corrosive on. No, it's probably just pure slash. So as you can see, I'm not hitting as much base damage as I am So, the base damage on this is really bad. So, if I haven't convinced you enough yet, the last build does the most damage. Yeah. So that's Galatine Prime in a nutshell. Now we're going to take a look at the Nikana Prime. The Nikana Prime is another very powerful, very fast slashing, high damage build. Now, last time you saw my Nikana Prime, it had about 800 damage in total. As you can see, mine now has around 1200, which is really good for the fast striking, annoying little weapon it is. So as this is the entire build, we have Relentless Combination since we're going to be stacking a lot of slash up, and this is a single target weapon. We'll still test it against 2 heavy gunners, and it doesn't really matter what kind of maybe Blind Justice. So as you can see, I'm stacking up a lot of combo multiplier, the amount of slash damage I'm doing. So it does a lot of CC and as well, and you're doing a lot of slash damage. It's very fast attacking, and as you all know, slash kind of ignores armor. So very fast striking single target weapon, as the galatine is much less efficient when attacking a single target, but the Nikana Prime is much more efficient. That's simple. Now we're going to take a look at the Lycion. Lycion is one build that I've had so much confusion making, as I don't include anything, any Fury or Berserker. I do include Prime Fury, as that is really good. 60% status, very, very well deserving weapon for what this is. But we're gonna, now we'll keep gas. We'll just show you, because all those builds involve damage over time and no corrosive. So corrosive kind of melts the armor a bit, but I want to show you the real potential. Now this one, if you look at the enemy, you can attack both of them at the same time. You can also attack faster. So as you can see, it's not that fast without corrosive, but I'll show you as soon as possible the stealth build on this. So it's still melting pretty fast for something that has gas, like almost as fast as a Nikana. So now we're going to test these out. Stealth build, which we're not going to be using Volt. We're just going to use plain old Loki, as he is the easiest to build for stealth. We'll use the Lycion first as the gas build. Just get some energy. We don't need as much. You'll see that I melt this guy instantly. As you can see, a lot better. Getting the slash procs and the gas procs. And we just watch him die. So that is the Lycion. Very, very powerful weapon indeed. Now we're going to be taking a look at the Nikana, and we'll be showing our gas build on this. What should be right here. Now we'll do this build. Yeah, we'll do this build. So this build doesn't involve any gas, but slash multipliers. This is the very reason why melee or stealth characters are meta. Right there. As you can see, I'm doing 1660 slash damage, ignoring armor. We'll use the block combo. Well, he's dead. So this is why I think, in my opinion, single target damage, the nikana is much better than the galatine. But we'll show you the galatine. It's a lot better at hitting multiple enemies at once. Even for its high base damage, its slow attack speed cannot really keep up. Now, even though it has 0.02 faster melee speed, I genuinely think that the nikana is better at single target damage. That's what I meant back in my old video. It was not about me saying, hey, this is this. As you can see, this build doesn't have any max damage whatsoever. Still more than nikana. And this thing is highly abusive in the end game. When you're running like a Volt and Naramon, it's very, very abusive. So, as you can see, the whole reason that people think Galatine Prime is better was because of that insane amount of damage. But it gets super boring to use. So, you might be thinking, but Hunter, that was a lot better single target damage. Ha 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 ha. Honestly, I bet if I put a gas build on my nikana, because there's a bunch of multi-strikes in that combo, that it could outbeat, in my opinion, it can outbeat the damn it, what was I gonna say? It can outbeat Galatine in terms of single target damage. So the first thing we're going to put on is Berserker. Obviously, we're going to need some attack speed. We're not going to be using Fury at all, but we are going to be using Prime Pressure Point as, well, obvious reasons. Blood Rush and Drifting Contact as the kind of status plus duration mods. We'll be using Molten Impact and Fever Strike for gas damage. We're going to be using Buzzkill for slash damage. And then we have 12 modding spots left, which is going to be used for Organ Shatter, as it is a highly crit damage weapon. Or we can remove it and then also go to Weeping Wounds, which will help us gain our status up even more, because we only have 28% status. So, now this is base status chance, so you're going to be proccing a lot of status. And then we're going to go on 2 enemies. This is pretty much the exact same build as the Galatine. Now we're going to use the block combo. As you can see, a lot of procs and damage, and a lot of CC, which means even more stealth multipliers. Now we're going to aim him this way, or this way works too. And you can see that it's very powerful. Almost as, well, pretty much as powerful as the Galatine Prime. So, if you're going for an in-game run, I recommend Galatine Prime. If you're going for more of a have fun, single target damage, we're going to go with Nikana Prime. Now, Lysion is something that's stuck in the middle. A lot of people are like, oh, this thing sucks, this thing's good, this thing sucks, this thing's good. It's a fact that this is one of the best melee weapons in the game. Sorry to the people that think that it isn't, because it's proven to be one of the best melee weapons. It destroys Corpus. It can melt. It can melt any other faction with gas damage. Now, my only concern is it doesn't have the killing potential as Galatine Prime and Nikana Prime, even though it clearly just melted them. Now, this thing doesn't have any CC, so the enemies don't go flying away with it. Now, we're going to go to Nikana Prime. And we're going to go to our stance mods, and we're going to use Tranquil Cleave. This thing has guaranteed slash procs. Guaranteed slash procs into the thing. But very high, and you can just do this right here. Now this one's more of a multi-striking combo, but it's very good. As you can see, I'm stacking a lot of slash damage. This is not even the actual, this isn't the actual gas build either. This is pure slash damage. And that is the potential that this weapon has. It has very good potential in the end game when it comes to just pure slash. Now with gas, it doesn't have as much luck. I'm using blind justice on this build. Let me get this video over with. I don't care about the energy. Trickle Cleave, super powerful, can strike multiple targets. We already went through this. Now, as you can see, its gas potential doesn't have the best with this build. Now that we proc the gas, you would die. But the problem, now, the good thing about Tranquil Cleave is that there's a finisher in it within the stance, so you can instantly kill him. But Blind Justice can proc more, but it stuns them. But the slash build with Tranquil Cleave is 10 times better than a gas build with Tranquil Cleave. And that's because the Blind Justice stance, even though it's hard to pull off, can give you guaranteed status procs. Now, that brings me to my next point. What is better, the Galatine Prime or the Nikana Prime? Now, before anyone gets triggered, we're going to separate these into 4 different categories so that each one can have their own glory spot. So, in terms of slash damage, the Nikana Prime wins by a good amount, as it can proc a lot of slash in a very short amount of time. Now, don't get butthurt that I said that if you're a Galatine Prime fan. I know that you like Galatine Prime, but in terms of getting as much slash damage on there with a good amount of damage, the Nikana Prime wins because it has a lot of multi-strikes in its combos, and it can do a lot of quick damage in a quick succession. If I wanted to hit 3 strikes in 1 second, then Nikana Prime is obviously going to win. The Galatine Prime can strike 2, like 1.5 slow strikes in a second because of the slowness of Cleaving Whirlwind. That's why I was using Tempo Royale in the other build, was because it was faster. It unleashed more damage. That's why the Cleaving Whirlwind is a slower stance. So if I wanted to, all of Nikana Prime stances are very fast and quick. So in terms of slash procs and how much you can get on there in a second, Nikana Prime is going to win by a milestone. Now, in terms of killing quickly and efficiently, the Galatine Prime is going to win because it has a lot of damage gone into it, and if you can hit like a gas or a slash in your first hit, you're obviously going to dominate with the enemy. But at the same time, if you're doing your Raging Bull stance, you're going it's doing 300% damage. So if you proc a slash proc on that, you're gonna have 300%. So 3 times as much slash damage with the 8 times stealth multiplier, which means you can do 13 times as much damage with your slashes. Same thing with gas. So getting as much damage as possible on that stance is going to be very powerful. It's going to be super efficient, and everything is going to work out really well when it comes to damaging and killing an enemy. Now, in terms of killing a group of enemies, Galatine Prime obviously wins. Its stances are made to damage groups of enemies. I think we all know that. That's an obvious one. The Galatine Prime wins by a milestone. But actually not really, because the Tranquil Cleave can damage, I believe, 3 enemies with its basic combo of Tranquil Cleave. But in terms of damaging a single enemy to 2 enemies, then Nikana Prime wins. So, if I were to pick one in an endgame scenario, it's going to be Galatine Prime, as its damage is super reliable and very consistent. Unlike the Nikana Prime, and if you hit its second combo, each attack only does 50% damage. No, not 50% extra damage, 50% damage. That means you're going to do half your damage each strike if you do the second combo. So you always want to be doing this. So if you do that, yeah, that's going to do not as much damage. If you do that, that doesn't do as much. That doesn't do as much. But if you just do this, that's going to be your more reliable slash hitting stance. But if you use Blind Justice, you get the guaranteed slash procs, which is why that wins over Galatine Prime. I think we all know. So if I were to go in as a stealth character, I'm going to take Galatine Prime. If I'm going to go in as a stealth character that mainly targets like the heavy gunners and the bombers, um, I'm going to pick Nikana Prime because I'm going to be doing single target damage against a one enemy, while another teammate could be using the Galatine Prime and get rid of all of the pawns or the just the not as minor mobs, because I think we all know Nikana Prime very good single target damage. My personal favorite of the group. Now, I already told you that Broken War is my personal favorite melee weapon in the game, but Nikana Prime wins because I've just had it a lot longer than both the Galatine and Galatine Prime. Galatine was one of my first melee weapons. Very good weapon. I loved it. It was so good. It was better than the War because it had slash. But when I got the Nikana Prime, I already had that slash. It had more slash, and it did had faster strikes. That's why I love the Nikana Prime. I used that a lot more than the Galatine. And then that's just my personal opinion. I love this. I love these. I love every weapon, every melee weapon I have. I love every melee weapon I have in this game. Everyone. If you think I just got it just to get it, no. There's a reason I'm only Mastery Rank 16. It's because I use the weapons that I love. I use the weapons that I think are the most important to me. Right? Dex-Duck or Fear X-Ray. Actually don't really like these, but I heard they have a lot of in-game potential. But, Galatine Prime. I love the Galatine Prime. I love the Nikana Prime. I love the Lycion. I love the Omas. I love all the weapons. But in my personal opinion, Nikana Prime is going to win between those two. But really, what comes down to win is your opinion. That's what this game is about. It's about your opinion. Everyone should have a very unique build. A unique build, a unique setup, a unique frame to them and them only. Mesa is one of my personal favorite frames. You guys should know that if you were a viewer when I first got Mesa. Broken War is one of my personal favorites because I'm obsessed with that weapon. I even use it for my X-Cal. Okay, but that's Warframe for you. If you're gonna get mad at me for pronouncing a name wrong, my opinion. If you get mad at me for liking a weapon that you like more, yours and mine opinion. That's what the video came down to. It's going to be a long one, but it's also a very worthwhile watching one. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, possibly subscribe. It would make my day. And hopefully, you guys can now understand the importance between opinions and melee weapons in a whole. They're not all the same thing. They're made for different tasks. See you guys in the next video.